What up, what up? Welcome back to Just for Fun. This is Matt here for another Pauper Brew. This is a pretty competitive Pauper deck, I feel at least. This is a way of playing Control in Pauper. This is called Tron, very, in line with the Tron decks in other formats. We're playing the Urza lands, collectively known as the Urzatron. That's the name of the deck, TronTrol. Now, this is another fun five-color deck. I mean, the main deck is, what do you call it now? Teamer? I call it Rug. F the new names from cons, by the way. They're terrible names. They're like so, not memorable, awkward to say, not pronounceable, stupid, bad names. This is a Rug deck, Rug Control. But technically it's a five-color deck, and you'll see that in the sideboard we have white cards and black cards. So, main deck, how does it work? Well, the goal is to generate ridiculous amounts of advantage by assembling the Tron and having huge piles of mana. How do we do that? Well, we have Expedition Map to tutor for missing Tron pieces. We also have boatloads of card draws. So all of these spheres and stars cycle and they fix your mana. So you can use colorless off your Tron lands to cast and activate one of these chromatic stars or chromatic spheres to fix a color and draw a card, hopefully drawing you into more fixing and more action. We also have crop rotation, which is a land tutor. Now, this is part of our package here with, you can see a bunch of utility lands here in Pauper. So we've got Shimmering Grotto, which is just for more fixing. We've got Sea Cliff, which gives somebody flying until end of turn just to get a little bit extra value and maybe send across our creature for the win. We've got Quicksand as a removal spell. Colony Garden as a way to generate a token for Stitch Blocker and or Edict Protection. Kabira Crossroads, good against burn, gain a couple life. Fengraf gets back one of your dudes. Depths, sets up your draw. And Bob removes a graveyard. So, protection here and a lot of various, toolbox kind of cards that we can tutor up at instant speed with rotation. So, pretty sick card. What else we got? We got Prophetic Prism is our other fixer here, and it also draws a card. So anything that draws your cards helps you fix also in a way because it draws you closer to, whatever other land or, whatever that you need to fix your mana. Seagate Oracle is some card selection, and Mold Drifter is flat out card draw. These are some of our beginning game kind of threats. A lot of time you're just killing people with Mold Drifter over a long period of time. How do you stay alive so long? We've got Firebolts as props to Russ for letting me borrow these before I was playing Lightning Bolt, which is good, but this is better because it's potentially a 2-for-1. And mana, as you'll see with the Tron lands, is not really an issue. So this helps you kill some things. You got Condescend to both counter spells and Scry. You've got Rolling Thunder, which can be Wrath of God, or it can also be, kill your opponent, depending on how much mana you have, how much incremental damage you've done with your Oracles and Mold Drifters and stuff. Other endgame spells, you have Crusher here, which is just your big, and this is the best endgame threat in Pauper. Now I'm only playing one of because we have the Fengraf to get it back, and it does cost 8, and we have other ways to end the game. We don't need to rely on this solely. However, it's still powerful. We still want to play it. We can cast it off our Urza lands pretty easily. Fangren Marauder, we're playing 3. Now this is a 5/5, which is somewhat hard to remove. I mean, people do play Doomblade and Journey to Nowhere and Oblivion Ring, but with red spells at least, very hard to remove. Also, the ability here of gaining 5 life, we actually have a dozen artifacts that we can sack and gain 5 life. So 12 times, we can gain 60 life with one Marauder, technically. So that's pretty impressive. Also, just in my previous experience playing with this deck, it's very likely that you're going to draw more than half of your deck. In fact, I was searching to see if there's a Felden's Cane or Elixir of Immortality type of effect in Pauper, which there isn't. Because I was worried about decking myself with this deck because there's just boatloads of thinning and card draw. Now again, mana base is very. You would think playing only 20 lands and 14 of them are colorless lands that you would be hurting for colors, but you're never hurting for colors in this deck, especially because it's so easy to tutor up your grotto. Prisms help you fix, and this allows us to play whatever cards we want in our sideboard, more or less. So got grudges here. I've got 4 of them because Affinity is a pretty terrible matchup. Also got a couple of Cop Reds because this basically colds Burn, and your matchup against Burn is pretty terrible. You're way too slow to race Burn. So this is kind of your only hope here because there's no way for them to beat this card. The Burn decks don't splash really. There's not a lot of splashing in Pauper, so this is a pretty much total victory against Burn. We've seen the power of this card in our other video. This is great against Hexproof and whatever other enchantments you might encounter. Doom Blades are there if the opponent is playing, big dudes like Crusher. This is one of the few ways to get rid of Crusher in the format. Electrickery is just an all-around great, amazing, insane card. In fact, I think this card should be banned. Seriously, I hate playing against this card, and it totally invalidates any kind of token strategy for the most part. Now, I go ahead and play token decks anyway because I think that's fun. But this card is instant 2-mana Plague Wind in this format, and I don't think it's a fair card. So we're playing it because it's not a fair card. Flame Slash is good against, I might bring some of these in against Affinity because they play a lot of 4/4s. Also good against Mono Black to kill a Gray Merchant. Grim Harvest is good against Mono Black or other attrition kind of matchups where, you're getting kind of, removed your creatures and you need something to get back your dudes because you're a bit threat light to some extent. Sometimes it's a little hard to finish the game. Then again, you're drawing more than half your deck most of the time, so you won't always need this, but it's possible, so I threw it in there as a just in case kind of card. So we're going to get to some matches with this hopefully tonight, and we'll see how it plays out. I've played this deck to some success before. We'll see what we can do.